What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to bind and move items in our Treeview with Tkinter and Python. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, I'm going to show you how to bind and move items in your Treeview. But before we get started, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where I have dozens of courses with hundreds of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. That's all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee of just $49, which is insanely cheap. Okay, in this video, I want to look at binding our Treeview and also moving items around. So in the last video, we clicked this thing where we selected a record. In this video, I want to show you very quickly how to just click on an item and then have it do something, right? So I'm just clicking here. Instead of before I had to click on an item and then click this select record button, we don't have to do that anymore. We can just click on a button. I also want to show you how to move items. So we can grab one item or many items, and I've got this move up and down button. So if I click move down, you can see John and Mary get moved down the list, or I can move them back up the list and that sort of thing. And that's what we're gonna look at in this video. So let's head over to our code. And both of these things are pretty easy to do. So this shouldn't take us very long, especially the binding. The binding will take about 30 seconds. So we've done a lot of event binding in the past, and this is no different than any of the other things we've ever done with binding. So I'm in tree.py. If you haven't seen the last few videos on the Treeview widget with Tkinter, check the link in the comment section below. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. So let's see, let's head down here to the very bottom and let's knock out this binding. So I'm gonna make a comment here. I'm gonna say bindings. And we've done bindings before. We just call the thing we want to bind. So this is going to be my tree, and then we want to call .bind. And this is a function. And inside of here, we can pass two arguments. One, what we want to bind, and then two, what we want to do once we've bound that thing. So in this case, we want to do, well, here we could do a couple of different things. We could do double click, or we could do single click. So let's start out with double click. Double click is just, let's see, these brackets, and then a double -1, right? And that's the binding event handler thing for a double click on your mouse button, right? So what do we want to do? Well, let's call the clicker function, I guess, right? So we don't have a clicker function yet, so we can make that. And so let's come up here and let's create binding click function. And let's move this down a little bit. So let's define clicker. And remember, anytime we use bindings, we have to pass something into our function, and that's the event, whatever the event is. In this case, the event is the clicking of the mouse button, right? So I usually just call this E, short for event, right? So what do we want to do here? Well, basically we want to do all the stuff that select record or select button, our select record button used to do. So we could just grab this function and just call it, right? So if we come down here and do that, that would work. Now we could also, instead of creating this clicker function, we could just come down here to the binding, and instead of clicker, we could just pass in select record, right? But the problem here is our select record button, wherever this is up here, didn't pass anything in. So we would have to modify that button or just get rid of it completely. But let's not do that. Instead, let's just create this other function called clicker. And inside a clicker, we'll just call this function. That'd be nice and easy. So let's go ahead and save this and run it. So let's go Python tree.py. And when we do, for instance, John, if I single click, nothing happens. If I double click, boom, John pops up. I can double click on Bob, and now Bob is in there. So just that easy. So that's double click. Now we could also, let's comment this out. And I'm going to copy and paste this. Instead of double, we could do single click. Now, single click gets a little tricky. So instead of single click, I'm going to use a button release. So whenever you click your mouse button, you have to let your finger off the button eventually, right? And that sort of signifies a click, right? So to do that, we would call button release -1. So go ahead and save this and run it. And now when we click on Tim, I'm holding the mouse button. Now when I let it go, boom, Tim pops up. So in real time, it's just boom, like that, Bob, Steve, whatever. So pretty simple to bind these things instead of using a button. And you probably would want to do this instead but maybe not. So now let's work on those move things. So let's head back over to our code, and I'm going to come to the very top, and I'm going to make this into 800. So, it's a little bit longer so we can add some more buttons. And I'm going to come down here to my buttons section here. So let's create a button, and I'm going to do, let's go up first. So let's call this one move_up. And this is going to be a button, and we want to put it in root, and we want the text to equal move up. And let's give this a command of up. And then we could go move_up dot pack, and let's give this a pad y of 20. Just to push it down the screen a little bit. And you can see this one used to be 20, but I moved it to 10. So, okay, so here let's move row up. And so we can go define up. Okay, so right off the bat, we want to designate what has been selected. So let's create a variable called rows. And this is going to be my_tree.selection. And this will just designate what has been selected. So we can grab more than one row, right? We can select more than one row. And if we do, it would be rows. So I'm going to call it rows plural. So now we just need to loop through this. And for each item selected, for each row selected, we need to do something. So let's go for row in rows, right? Basic loop. We just want to move them. So it's my_tree.move. This is a move function. And inside of here, there are basically 3 different parameters. So first we need to designate, what are we moving? So we're moving the row, right? That's the single row that we're looping through in our rows. If there's only one selected, it'll only be one, but that will be row. Now we want to say, all right, what are we moving it in? Well, that's my_tree.parent. And then inside of here, we pass that same row, right? Now, what do we want to do with it? Well, we want to move it up or down or something. So in this case, we want to move it up. So we do that by calling my_tree.index. So the index number. So each item in your row is numbered. The very first item, it's sort of like a Python list. We already know this. The first one is 0. The second one was 1. The third one is 2. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're just sort of numbered. That's their index number. Think of it as a list index number, right? So what is it? Row. Now, what do we want to do with this? Well, for this one, we're moving it up. So think about it. If you're the 5th one and you want to move it up, you're moving it to position 4. If you want to move it up again, you're moving it to position 3. The higher up you go, the smaller the index number is, because the first index number is 0. So in this case, we want to subtract an index number, 1, right? So that should do the trick, and that's all there is to it. So let's go ahead and save this and run it. See if that worked. So let's grab Bob here and move him up. Boom, 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 all the way up. Now he's the very first thing, right? So piece of cake, pretty simple. And that's really all there is to it. Now, moving down is just a little bit different. So let's do that now. So let's go move_down. And this is a button. We want to put it in root. We want the text to equal move down. And let's give this a command of down. And then we want to move_down.pack this guy. And let's just give this a pad y of like 10 just to push it down a little bit. So I'm just going to now copy all of this stuff. So we don't really want to do this a second time. So we can just paste this. So move row down. We want to call this down. And we just do the opposite now. We want to add one. So as it goes down, the index number goes up, right? So the 0th item is the first item. If you want to move it down the list, you add an item. You add a number to it. So add 1. That will move it down to position 1, and then 2, and then 3. Now, there's a slight difference here. Instead of calling for row in rows, we need to call row in reversed rows. And this will just sort of reverse things. It's just a little weird thing that you have to do with this. So now we can go ahead and save this, and let's run this. So now we can get John. We want to move him down. Boom, he moves down. We can move him back up. If we grab Control and we click 2 things, so John and Mary, we want to move them both down. Boom, boom, boom. Now if I click this up again, Mary goes up. If I click down, now they're reversed, right? If I go back up and click up again, John goes up. And it just keeps cycling through here. That's what that reverse thing does. It's sort of for if if you've selected more than one thing. If you're only selecting one thing, you don't really need to use that reversed thing. You could just use like we did with the other one. But if you're selecting more than one item, right? It's fun. You need to use that reverse thing. So, okay, that's all there is to it. So, boy, we did a lot in this video. We did a binding. So when we click a thing, it automatically appears here, and we moved up and down. Very, very cool and a lot of fun. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. So it pays just $49 to access all my courses, over 45 courses, hundreds of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 100,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.